Welcome to the BrwnGrlz Collective, where community isn't just a word, it's a practice. Here we gather to read, to listen, and to tell the stories that shape our culture. From book club conversations that challenge how we think and feel, to interviews that spotlight voices, building, healing, and leading in real time. This is a space for honest dialogue, shared wisdom, and collective growth. We believe in culture with context, conversations with purpose, and community that shows up. These are our stories, these are our conversation, and this is the BrwnGrlz Collective.
Hey family, welcome back to the BrwnGrlz Collective podcast, where we turn conversations into connections and connections into culture. From book club discussions to interviews to street conversations, we're always creating space for her voice and her story. If you're new here, my name is Sierra, and today we're sitting down with someone who is helping people take control of something we don't talk about enough, their health. And this month, we're having a real conversation. Provide, protect, or involve, redefining the modern man. Because when we talk about providing, we don't always talk about what it takes to sustain it. When we talk about protection, we don't always include our health. And when it comes to involving, a lot of people know they need to, but they don't know where to start. So today's conversation is going to challenge how we think about responsibility, discipline, and what it really means to take care of yourself. Today, we're sitting down with a woman who is helping people stop guessing when it comes to their health and start getting real answers. Adrienne Diaz, founder and CEO of TeleHealth and Wellness Solution, a provider-led virtual wellness clinic focused on weight management, metabolic health, and sustainable lifestyle changes. Her work is rooted in helping people feel seen, supported, and actually guiding through their wellness journey. So family, help me welcome Adrienne Diaz. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
Doing well.
Good. So before we get deep and get started with our community segment, let's warm up Brown Girl style. All right, is that okay with you?
That's great. I'm ready.
So we like to start off with a game called Provide, Protect, or Involve. I'm going to say something. You tell me if it is providing, protecting, or involving, and why. But you got 60 seconds, okay?
Okay.
All right, let's go. Ignoring your health while chasing money.
Ooh, evolving. You really have to pay attention to your health and change and prioritize that. You can chase the money while evolving and changing your health.
Okay. Working nonstop but feeling burnt out.
Ooh, I'm going to say providing. I feel like that's just the role of being a business owner, plus a mom, a wife, a daughter, a friend, doing all the roles. So that makes sense. That lines up with providing.
Going to the doctor before something is wrong.
Ooh, that's protecting because you want to protect your health before it gets bad.
Learning how your body actually functions.
Ooh, I would say that's providing, protecting, and evolving because you're hitting all three categories with providing self-care, protecting your body, and evolving to make sure that you stay healthy.
Okay. Choosing discipline over confidence. Time's up. Good. Thank you for those answers. Okay, Adrienne, do you think people really understand what it means to provide and protect, especially when it comes to themselves, or are we mostly reacting once something goes wrong?
I think that most times we react, especially when it comes to ourselves. I feel like as people, we tend to put others before ourselves and we put ourselves on the back burner. So we end up being reactive, towards our health and wellness, where we should be in protection mode and in a proactive mode.
I like that response because I feel like we're all victim to it. I feel like it's sometimes just second nature for us to put people before us and then forget about ourselves. So thank you for sharing that. And that's where the conversation happens here. But this is bigger than just this room. So for those who are watching this right now, we want to hear from you. So for those of you watching this right now, when you hear provide and protect, what does that actually mean to you? Drop it in the comments because this is a community conversation. We want to hear what that sounds like out in our community. So we took it to the streets. And are you okay with playing a game with me real quick?
Sure.
It's really quick, okay. So this game is called Provide, Protect, or Evolve. I'm gonna give you one scenario and you choose a theme. Well, I'll give you a question and you tell me if it's providing, protecting, or evolving. So would you like to talk about business, community, or male focus?
Let's talk about community.
Okay. And so again, I want you to tell me if these are providing, protecting, or evolving. People supports at events like this, but not after. Is that providing, protecting, or evolving?
I want to say it's evolving.
Okay, and why?
Oftentimes, people do take your social media. They might not purchase at that time, but they might connect with you later. And then it also allows for, even when individuals, let's say they go to our Instagram or our social media, it allows you to follow up with them and say, hey, well, thank you for stopping by my table. Here's a 10% off or whatever it is. So I think it's definitely evolving.
So do you like business, community, or male focus?
Let's do community.
Okay. Support is there, but not consistent. Is that provide, protect, or evolve?
Okay, I'm gonna wing this one. I'm thinking we need to protect.
Okay, and why?
Well, when I think of community, I'm definitely thinking of protecting our community, protecting our culture. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah,
we need to. The way things are going on in this world, we need things like this,
definitely
to protect us, to let us know this is the community for it. This is the opportunity for it, right? Do you want to talk about business, community, or male focus?
Ooh, male focus.
Okay. And again, you're going to tell me if this provide, protect, or evolve, and why. A man wants to be a provider, but isn't financially ready yet. Is that provide, protect, or evolve?
Provide. I mean, you can still provide and not be financially set, because provide is a bunch of different things, right?
Okay.
A lot of people consider provide as like the financial side of it, but provide could be just spending time with your kids, right?
Yeah.
You provided something other than finances. You're providing time.
That's right.
Love.
That's right.
Whatever it is. It don't necessarily have to be money.
Yes.
But I say provide.
Even hearing that, it brings up a bigger question. Do you think men are taught how to lead or expected to figure it out on their own?
I feel like a lot of times men are expected to figure it out on their own, just to be the provider, the protector. That's kind of the natural role for a male. But a lot of times I feel like it's just said to them and they're not necessarily taught how to lead.
And I think just like the way the society is, most men don't want to lead. They're kind of just relying on others to assist them or show them how to lead. And when it comes to that, do you think women play a role in pulling that out of them or bringing out that growth?
I do feel like we as women do play a big role in helping men lead. Sometimes we just have to show them, direct them. I don't know if it always comes natural for men as it does to women. We just get put in the role and we just take over and make it happen. And so that is our natural gift. And sometimes I think men maybe lack in that area, but I think women have the power to help men lead.
And I also think like women are just kind of a little more nurturing. So it just kind of comes natural to us to like help the men figure things out and just kind of play that kind of like second mom role to them. So I do agree with you on that. How do you navigate that, especially when you see potential in someone, but they may not fully see it yet themselves?
Ooh, that's a good one, Sierra. Man. I do feel like it's hard, even, in my own marriage. I do feel like I've had to, help my husband and, show him certain things that maybe he was not taught. I grew up differently than him. He grew up differently than me. And so sometimes our parents or the people that we were around, we were raised with different models, different lifestyles. So I do feel like I've had to maybe gently correct or gently show him without overstepping, while still making him feel like a man and not naturally just taking over it and trying to do it all by myself.
And I kind of like what you said about, growing up, we all were raised differently. Some raised in single parent households, some saw, mom and dad. And that kind of affects, I believe, men and their mature level as well. And then that's why they kind of like lean on us women to help them lead and try to figure things out in life. So I do agree with you on that. There's also a lot of talk about women raising these men. Who is at fault? Do you think we're at fault, or like you're saying, growing up, what do you think is causing this problem?
Sometimes I do feel like it's the mothers. I hate to say that, but with having my own son, I feel like I naturally just want to baby him and coddle him. And I did do that with my daughter, but I do feel like it's a different dynamic with my son. So I do have to be mindful of that with, nurturing him, but also, giving him the space to grow up and to learn to do things on his own. So sometimes I do feel like the mother plays a big role in that. I think that's where the phrase like mama's boys come from.
Mm-hmm.
And I have fully understood that now that I have my own son. So I do think we have to be mindful with raising them to be the men that we want as well.
I do agree. And then sometimes it could be like smothering them. So, it's hard for them to try to figure things out. And next thing you know, they're 20, 30 years old, still calling mom like, hey, mom, I need to know how to file my taxes or something, because, it's like you said, it's just second nature. And you just don't want them to kind of grow up so fast, but then they have to grow up. So I do agree with you on that. And, when we talk about that, we're usually talking about how people show up for others. But when we talk about providing and protecting, we don't always include ourselves in that equation. And that's where the conversation shifts, because before you can show up for anyone else, you have to understand what it looks like to take care of yourself first. Is that right?
Absolutely right.
Even hearing that, it brings up a bigger question. We went to the Black in Business Expo and asked them this question. All right, this is Sierra with the BrwnGrlz Collective, and we're here at Black in Business Expo in Charlotte, North Carolina, where our theme this month is Provide, Protect, or Evolving, Redefining the Modern Man. And I have the pleasure of interviewing your name and where you're from.
My name is Kedrick Kofer. I'm from Athens, Georgia.
All right, and tell us a little about your business.
So I'll tell you a little bit about my business. My name of my business is House Call Suits and Ties and Accessories. So my flagship product is custom and tailored suits.
Okay.
But I do a lot of women accessories, like women brooches, women oils. Also, I do custom women neckties.
Do you mind playing a game with me real quick?
Sure, let's do it.
So this game is called Provide, Protect, or Evolving.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you one scenario, and you get to choose a theme. So whatever question I ask, I need you to tell me if this is providing, protecting, or evolving. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so do you want to talk about business, community, or male focus?
Let's talk about male focus.
Okay. A male wants to be a provider, but isn't financially ready yet. Is this providing, protecting, or evolving, and why?
I think it's evolving because a lot of times men might not be in position financially ready, but I believe as a partner, they should encourage, build up, and help their partner get to that next level where God wants them to be.
Right.
So I truly believe having a great spouse or a great partner will elevate a man to go to his next level.
All right.
A woman can pull the great potential out that a man has.
Okay. He's dropping knowledge there. All right, just to follow up, which one do you think men struggle with the most right now? Do you think they struggle with providing, protecting, or evolving? And why?
I think it's providing.
Okay.
Because a lot of times in men, we struggle with handling finances. A lot of times we can't be good stewards over our finances because when we start getting a lot of money, we spend a lot of money. And so I just truly believe that as men, we need to be more disciplined and also be great stewards over our money and over the finances that God gives us.
All right. He's dropping knowledge there. All right. Just to follow up, which one do you think men struggle with the most right now? Do you think they struggle with providing, protecting, or evolving? And why?
I think it's providing.
Okay.
Because a lot of times in men, we struggle with handling finances. A lot of times we can't be good stewards over our finances because when we start getting a lot of money, we spend a lot of money. And so I just truly believe that as men, we need to be more disciplined, a will to change, but we got to be humble. We got to show humility to change, because a lot of times men, we're very arrogant, very prideful. And so if we're not willing to change, we can't change everything that's inside of us.
Absolutely.
Because it starts from within and then it comes out.
That's right.
Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. Okay. So if I'm not saying things in me internally, thinking good things of me internally, it's not going to come out externally.
Are you a pastor?
I am a minister.
Okay, I can tell. I can feel the anointing on you.
Absolutely.
So I love that. And please tell people where we can find your business at on your social media platforms.
Absolutely. You can find my business at House Called Suits and Ties, LLC, on social media. Also, you can find me on Facebook at Mandwell, MANDWELL, Cofer, COFER.
All right, and again, this is Sierra from the BrwnGrlz Collective. Make sure you're following for more community, culture, and conversation. Bye.
Later.
Woo, so Adrienne, do you agree with him? And what do you think he left out?
I do agree with him, and I really appreciate hearing it from a male's perspective, especially a Black man in today's society. I do agree with him as far as like maybe providing being more of the more difficult challenge. I also feel like men do have to evolve. Change is hard for anybody, especially when you've been stuck in a pattern for so long. So we do have to evolve constantly. We have to continue to grow. And sometimes growth takes you out of your comfort zone. Nobody wants to be uncomfortable. Nobody wants to, feel pressured. But I think evolving is a daily process that you will continually have to work on. So I think men have to do it. Women have to do it. I have to do it. We all have to do it, especially when it pertains to our health, especially in the Black community. We constantly have to evolve. We have to change maybe some of the diets that we've had, passed down from generation to generation. A lot of Black folks, we like seasoning. We like to add the salt. We like to have, Old Bay, all the good stuff. But actually that in turn has caused us to have high blood pressure and a higher risk of heart disease, heart failure. So we are constantly evolving and have to, tailor it to where we are in today's times. And
I agree with you, but I also think you have to want it for yourself. Mm-hmm. So, as the world changes and time changes and life changes, you just have to want it for yourself. You have to want to involve yourself. Yes. Do you think social media plays a lot what we think about our community, especially in relationships?
I do. I think social media a lot of times is like the highlight reel. So you're seeing the top moments of someone's life most times. So I feel like it gives a false sense of what relationships should be like, what your life should be like. And then it causes a false sense of comparison. And we really have to work on that. Social media is not life. It can be used as a tool and a great resource, but we also have to remember to do the work in real life every day, which takes place off of social media.
I agree. And the saying they said, keep your love life private and everything else, because, social media can portray a false narrative about your life and how you pursuing it. And, it may not be really what it is, so I do agree with you on that. And when we talk about that, we're usually talking about how people show up for others. Mm-hmm. But when we talk about providing and protecting, we don't always include ourselves in that equation. And that's where the conversation shifts. Because before you can show up for anyone else, you have to understand what it looks like to take care of yourself first. So let's start there. What inspired you to create TeleHealthy and Wellness Solution?
So I got pregnant back to back, and I had preeclampsia and gestational diabetes with my first pregnancy. And I'd always been very in shape, very fit, very active. I was a D1 athlete. I cheered at the University of South Carolina. And so I had a lot of experience with being healthy my whole life. And then pregnancy hit, and I gained 40 plus pounds, and I developed gestational diabetes, although I was walking every day. I'm trying to eat healthy, trying to do all the right things, but my metabolism really just fought me. So the doctor told me that I was at risk, as well as my baby, and I ended up having to have an urgent C-section due to preeclampsia. After that, I ended up on blood pressure pills twice a day, and they told me I was at risk for becoming a type 2 diabetic. So being a nurse practitioner, I have all this knowledge. So I was very well aware of the risk and what was happening to my body, but everything I seemed to do just was not working. So I was trying to lose weight postpartum, doing all the things, and nothing seemed to budge the scale. So I started taking a GLP-1 medication, but it was very expensive because I was not considered a type 2 diabetic. I was borderline in between, but until you have an official diagnosis, the doctors or the companies want you to pay thousands of dollars for this medication that will help improve your health. So I did not like that. And I knew I was not the only one struggling with this. So as I talked to more women and men about their weight loss struggles, especially in the Black community, I learned that I was not the only one fighting this battle, but people really could not afford to buy the healthiest foods, or they're working 2 and 3 jobs, so they don't have the time to exercise, or they can't afford a gym membership. So we needed another solution that was affordable. So I ended up partnering with a compounding pharmacy out in Texas, and my husband actually encouraged me and inspired me to start this business. He told me actually 2 years ago before I even got pregnant, but I was just not in the headspace or as confident to build something. So I developed this program to, help people like me, help people like you, and to just come up with a more affordable means to get healthy.
Wow, I love your story. And actually, it's more so like a testimony because, most people don't understand what a woman's body goes through carrying a child, going through the health complications, and after all that, it's a lot. So I thank you for sharing that. And I commend you. I commend you. What are people usually dealing with when they come to you? And what patterns do you see the most?
Most people are dealing with excess weight. They've gained weight over the years due to stress, age, just not being as active. A lot of people also come to me for being extremely fatigued. They just notice they're more tired. They're sleeping 8 to 9 hours a night. They're trying to eat a healthy diet. They're taking their vitamins, but they never seem to have enough energy. I also see big patterns of just behavioral patterns, like patients kind of stuck in a same type of habit of eating fast food, not meal prepping, not, planning for the next day. And so those habits over time lead to the results, that I just spoke of. So yeah.
I'm one of those persons because I feel like sometimes I don't get enough sleep. I'm always like, I need some rest. And it's just like, you try to get some rest, and it's like, I can't. I only can get 4 hours right now. So I'm one of those people. What does it mean to protect your health before something goes wrong?
So I would relate that to preventative health. That's what we call it in the medical field. And that's basically where you go for annual visits. You go for 3 to 6 month checkups, even if there's nothing wrong. Don't wait until you feel bad. Don't wait until you start having chest pain. Don't wait until you've gained 40 pounds. Like once you start seeing those things happening, go in before it gets bad. Like we said earlier, we've become reactive instead of being proactive. And we really have to get in the protection mode to protect our health with where we are before we get to where we can't resolve it.
I absolutely agree. Staying on top of it and, just following up with your doctors, not, saying no to stuff, it's a lot of discipline. So I do agree with you on that. What does it mean to actually provide for yourself first, especially when it comes to your health?
So when you said that, it made me think of what they say when you're on an airplane about to take off. Whenever the flight attendants tell you, like if the plane is going down or something's happening, always put your mask on first and then assist your neighbor. So it's the same with your health. You have to take care of yourself first. You have to pour into yourself. You have to invest in your wellness first, because if you're not healthy, there's no way that you can serve others. There's no way that you can be a good partner or a good parent because you feel so bad.
I agree. I totally agree. Do you think people, especially men, are missing the connection between success and their health? especially when most men claim they want a healthy and fit woman.
Absolutely. And men, their metabolism is much faster than ours. Plus, they don't have to go through the hormone fluctuations with a monthly menstrual or
Right.
pregnancy or menopause. So we have a lot of factors working against us that they don't have. Plus, when we stress, the cortisol, which is a hormone in our body, our cortisol levels like shoot up. And then that causes us to gain weight and look puffy. Men just usually don't have those issues. So a lot of times men equate their success to the money, the status, the things, the material items, and then they want this healthy, fit, beautiful woman on the side. But sometimes, that successful man can be encouraging his wife to remain healthy, even if she already is, to maintain it. We can go for walks together. We can go to the gym together, or let's cook healthy meals together. So I think, a lot of times that pressure is put back on us alone. Whereas if we have a partner, we need to kind of combine as a team and mesh together to work together.
I agree. And then especially, I feel like you said, the pressure is a little bit more, especially after you have a child and then you're just going through maybe just some kind of midlife crisis. So I agree with you. You have to mesh together and, make it work, build each other up, bounce off each other, feed off each other. What does evolution looks like when it comes to wellness beyond quick fixes?
So evolution looks like going to the doctor, at least doing an annual visit. It means getting your blood work. It means going in for your health screening. So, your colonoscopies, your mammograms, the screenings that are recommended. A lot of times in our society, especially Black men, they avoid doctors. Historically, I understand why, like the Tuskegee trials that were done against us, or Henrietta Lacks, who had her cells removed and stolen and used for research. So, our fear and our anxiety related to healthcare, it makes sense. But we are also dying at a higher and faster rate than our counterparts. So we really have to be intentional with moving forward and doing the things that are uncomfortable and really just putting our health first.
I agree. And I don't understand why men are so scared to go to the doctor to get checked. I've been in relationships where I go to the doctor and the guy, he'll be like, oh, what did the doctor say? Oh, that's what's wrong with me too. No, it's not. Go for yourself. Check for yourself. Get your own screening. Like, you can't base it off of mine. So I do agree with you on that. How are men showing up when it comes to their health right now?
I think they are slowly evolving. I think that we as Black women are pushing it more because we're losing our spouses, we're losing our mates, we're losing our brothers, we're losing our dads, we're losing our sons, we're losing our loved ones so quickly. So I think the evolving is coming from the death rate that we see, or the illness, or the disability, or the strokes that we see our Black men having. And they may have survived it and not died from it, but their quality of life is so poor that they're not the same person. And it's kind of like, well, man, maybe if he took those blood pressure meds, or man, maybe if he had gone to the doctor when he started having those headaches, maybe it wouldn't have been as bad. So I think we're seeing that more, and is pushing us all as a community to step up and say, hey, we have to work on this.
And just a true story, like my father just recently had a stroke. And before all that happened, I promised, like, every day I would call him and tell him, Dad, put the cigarettes down, be a little more healthier. And then now, he's like, I should have listened, I should have followed up with the doctor. So I do agree with you. Like, they have to take that more serious and take heed to their health, because you don't want to be, last minute trying to figure out what's wrong with you. So I do agree with you. And just to follow up, what does growth actually looks like for them in real time?
In real time, I think it looks like just health and joy. Knowing that you can, walk down the street and take a few steps without experiencing chest pain. Knowing that you can, go for a walk with your family or play in the park with your kids and you're not short of breath, you're not winded, over something that could have been prevented. So I think real time, it just looks like healthy, happy individuals that look good, feel good, and are just thriving.
I agree. I totally agree. For the person watching this who knows something needs to change, what's the first step they should take?
I would say set up an appointment with your primary care provider. If you don't have one, do some research. If you have insurance, call your insurance company and see what providers are in your network. If you don't have insurance, there are free health clinics, there are lower options. Go to the doctor. That's the first step. You have to be aware of your health conditions in order to treat and prevent them or improve them. So I think the first step is just going, getting that blood work, getting those vaccines, just, learn your health history first. And then from there, just continue to follow up.
And that's very important, your health history. That way when things come up, you're not such in a shock because you kind of know like, okay, this is hereditary. I just need to do these steps to take care of that. And I think that's the part we don't always talk about. How much of providing and protecting starts with how we take care of ourselves and how different things could look if that becomes the priority first. I do want to take a moment to acknowledge you because you shared with us what was going on with your son and still choose to show up today. And that says a lot about you, not just as a woman, but as a mother. So I want to ask you this. For the woman watching this, especially those raising sons or supporting children in any way, what do moments like this teach us about how we show up for them and for ourselves? And when life doesn't slow down, but we still have to be present.
Whew, that's a tough one. I guess I would just say, I'm sorry.
Take your time.
I guess I would just say, you just push forward. You trust God. You keep your faith. It's a hard world, raising men in general. I mean, raising any kids, but especially Black sons. So we have, I think, one of the hardest roles as women, mothers, aunties, whatever role or capacity we are in. I think it is, a hard time to be raising a Black son, but our ancestors have done it through all the generations and have experienced much tougher times than we are today. And so I just pull from their strength to say, hey, if they did it before me, I know that I can do it now. They paved the way for us to be here so that we can be successful, so that we can provide, so that we can protect, so that we can evolve, and so that we can redefine, our world, our communities. So I would just say continue to push forward and seek God in everything, that you do. My son had a really bad accident Friday night. It was actually my husband and my fourth wedding anniversary, and we had just gotten back from a movie, picked the kids up from my parents, and things went from 0 to 100, and my son ended up rolling off the bed and really, really hurt himself. And of course, I just screamed and I was hysterical. Being a nurse practitioner went out the window and I was in full mommy mode.
Mm-hmm.
And I about lost it. So, of course, my 2-year-old daughter is on the side trying to help. Thank God my husband was home, and I'm, directing and screaming at him and telling him what to do. I'm trying to, control the blood. And I just had to stop for a minute. I got my moment out and I said, okay, Adrienne, you got your mommy moment out. Now it's time to go into protection mode, and you have to do what you have to do. Mm-hmm. So I tried to pull it together as best as I could, and we sped to the hospital. And of course, I'm still so scared in the moment, but I knew that it came down to me. just because I do have the medical background. I didn't know how we were going to be treated, being parents coming in with a, hurt 8-month-old. And um, I just was trying to mentally prepare while praying. And today, actually, before this interview, I laid hands on him and my mom said, Adrienne, why don't you find some scripture? I think there's some verses in the Bible about stopping blood loss and stopping bleeding. And so as I'm doing some research on scriptures, I find some more on just healing.
Mhm.
And so I laid hands on my son and I just prayed, and I have continued to pray. And I feel like that's something historically and generationally that was also passed down to us. And that's how we've survived,
Mhm.
by clinging to our faith. And, I know everyone is, not religious or spiritual, and everyone has different walks and religions, but whatever you believe in, believe it fully, believe it wholly, cling to it, trust in it, and just push forward every day, because we do have to continue to show up. We do have to be present. And sometimes doing that actually can lift your mood and can push you and actually show your children of, hey, sometimes things happen, things hit the fan, but you can still show up and be present, and you can still do it. You can still make it. You can still get through. So I guess that's all I could probably say for where I am.
Well, Adrienne, you showing up today has inspired me. It has pushed me, because even in the midst of your situation, you still showed up today to be a part of our podcast and to share your testimony. Because like you said, within 0 to 100, things change. And that means it can happen to us. It can happen to anyone. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you for showing up, not only for us, but for your family, for you as a Black woman. Thank you. Before we close, for anyone watching who wants to take their health seriously and actually get the support they need, let them know where they can find you and how they can work with you.
So my website is TeleHealthy and wellnesssolutions.com. And I have a booking link on that page. I do offer free discovery calls for people who are maybe interested, but don't really want to commit at that time. Maybe they just want information or to get to know me as the provider, to make sure they want to work with me and that we mesh together and click well. So I do free discovery calls. I also have an Instagram and a Facebook page called TeleHealthy and Wellness Solutions, and I also have booking links there. I do encourage people to at least do the free discovery call so we can briefly talk about if my program is a good fit for you. I do offer free meal plans, free exercise plans, nutrition programs, and of course, the medical weight loss. So I would love to work with you. I am so happy to be here. I'm so grateful for the opportunity. And I just encourage everyone to really take their health seriously. As Sierra said, she begged her father, to stop smoking and take better care of himself. And I see that every day, of people knowing they need to change or want to change, but they don't know how, they don't know where to start. And most people just need support. They need guidance. They need somebody just to walk them through the steps. So I am here and I am ready.
And just to kind of follow up what you said, and thank you for sharing, what's one thing you want people to leave from this conversation today? What do you want them to take from this conversation about taking control of their health?
I would say don't wait. If you've learned anything, don't wait, because most older patients tell me, man, if I would have known that this would have happened, I would have taken my blood pressure pills consistently. Or if I would have known that this is how I was going to feel from smoking, I wasn't going to be able to breathe and spend time with my wife during retirement, I would have never done this. So don't delay your care. My motto is invest in your wellness now so you don't have to pay for your illness later. And so although it seems costly now to do the things to protect your health and to be proactive,
Mhm.
it will actually cost you more money and hurt you more later if you're trying to treat a disease or symptoms And unfortunately, our healthcare system is profiting off of that. They are profiting off of us being ill, and
Yes.
insurance companies are making money off of our backs. So let's get ahead of them and let's beat them to the punch, and let's stay as healthy as long as possible so that we are actually healthier long term and living longer, stronger lives.
And say that motto one more time for me.
Invest in your wellness now so you don't have to pay for your illness later.
Please take heed, audience. Please take heed. To everyone watching, if this spoke to you, this is your reminder that taking care of yourself is not optional, because you can't provide if you're depleted. You can't protect if you're ignoring the signs. And you can't evolve without making a decision to change. And if you're ready to take that step, make sure you connect with Adrienne and the work she's doing. So support the people, the platform, and the voices that are helping us grow. Make sure you're following BrwnGrlz Collective, subscribe to our YouTube, and stay locked in for more community, culture, and conversations. I'm Sierra. This is the BrwnGrlz Collective. See you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. Make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. And definitely visit BrwnGrlzCollective.org or Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Can't wait to see you next time.